Hey guys, Extra here, back with another Tekkit tutorial. Today's tutorial, we're going to be going over electricity, quarries, and oil. Now, the first item is called a solar panel. And like most solar panels, it collects energy from the sun and light. So this little sun right here, that just will tell you that it is collecting energy, and at nighttime that thing will go away, meaning it's not collecting energy at all. To make this solar panel, we will need 2 electronic circuits, a generator, 3 coal dust, and 3 glass. Next, to take the power from the solar panel, we are going to need some glass fiber cables. You can think of these glass fiber cables as an upgraded version of our copper cables. They will hold and they will lose less power, unlike the copper cables. Now, to make these, we will need 6 glass, 2 redstone, and 1 diamond. This will give you 4 glass fiber cables. The other recipe to make these is the same, only with silver ingots, and they will give you 6. I prefer this recipe because I use redstone a lot more than I use silver ingots, and they give you 2 more, which is just a win-win to me. The next item is called a bat box. This is just a storage box, basically, to hold electricity. There are many forms of this, but this is the lowest form, and just the basic version for electricity. So here's what it looks like. And this little gauge is just going to fill up as more energy comes from the solar panels, and it'll store it, and you can have the output being sent to your machines to get powered. The bat box is a pretty simple machine. We just need 5 wood, 1 copper cable, and 3 RE batteries, and voila, we have a bat box. Now, the first machine we are actually going to be using is an electric furnace. Now, like it says, it runs on electricity, not coal, and it's a little bit faster and more efficient than the furnaces we've had in the past. So here's what it looks like. Looks like any of the other powered up machines. We need that red arrow to be fully red to make sure it's fully powered. What we're going to need first is to make an iron furnace. This, it's a little bit better than a regular furnace. So if you have the iron, I would recommend making an iron furnace instead of just a regular furnace, because it is a little bit more efficient on the coal. But yeah, so we're going to put iron in a chest formation to make an iron furnace. You can also make it with a regular furnace and 5 iron ingots. So if you had a regular furnace before and you just felt like upgrading, then you can make it like that. Now we're going to use this iron furnace to make an electronic furnace with 2 redstone and an electronic circuit. So in terms of items, it's pretty cheap, but the time and amount of power it takes to actually power this one machine is quite a bit. So I would make sure you have at least 4 solar panels, but you're probably going to want to make a large solar panel like flower above your house to collect a lot of energy, because in the future we're going to be using more than just one electronic machine. Next we have a quarry, which is seen right here. Here's what it looks like. This black and yellow box is just that's just the dimensions of where it's going to dig. Now, this is a little confusing, but we're going to need a lot of gears. 2 diamond gears, 2 gold gears, 3 iron gears, redstone, and an unused diamond pick. Now, I briefly went over how to make gears in my last video, but I will give you a easier demonstration right now. So let's take this quarry out. So to make a wooden gear, we just simply need 4 sticks in a formation like that. Then we're going to put this wooden gear in the middle, take some cobble to to make a stone gear. Same thing with iron. Iron gear. Gold. Gold gear. And diamonds for a diamond gear. So it's pretty expensive, but it's well worth it because if you don't know what it does, it's gonna grow this arm thingy, and it's just gonna go inside this box and start digging one by one, and it's gonna collect all the things that it digs, and they're gonna come out of the top of this, so you can have some tubing piping it out into a chest. But it's very useful. These things called landmarks, they are going to be used to change the size of your quarry. So if this quarry size is too big or too small for your needs, we can simply take some landmarks and change the dimensions. And I will show you how to do that in my demonstration later. So let's look. Just a redstone and a lapis. So very easy. So here's just a little formation I made right here. Let's take this. So you're going to have 4 of them set up in a box kind of formation, whatever size you want. And once you have all 4 of them, you're going to right click on one of them, and it'll just give this line, which is just an outline of the new dimensions for your quarry. Next, we have these combustion engines. And I like to use these combustion engines to power my quarries. They're a little bit faster, they're a little bit more powerful, but they're a lot more dangerous. So we're going to look in here. We have some oil and water. Now these are going to be used to power your combustion engines. The way you do this, you can either take buckets of oil and water and just put them in this little box here, or I think you can have them filtered in with tubes. So let's take a look at how to build these. They're like the redstone engines, only a little bit more advanced with iron gears and iron ingots and glass and a piston, and you get combustion engines. You're probably going to need at least 2 of them for your quarry, along with a lever or redstone signal to power them. So next we're going to be moving on to oil, and first thing to collect oil is we're going to need this pump block. Now before we can make that, we need to make the mining well block, which is 3 iron ingots on either side, 1 iron pickaxe, 1 iron gear, and 1 redstone. Then we're going to take that and we're going to put the mining well in the middle, along with a tank on top to give us our pump. Now the tanks are right over here. They're pretty simple. You just make them glass in a chest formation, and these tanks are actually going to be used to hold your oil and water and any other liquids. So for our pump, we're going to need to put on some tubing to tube the oil out. So we're going to need some wooden tubes for the direction, and we're going to need some stone to actually transport it. But these we can't use regular wooden and stone transport pipes. We need waterproof pipes, and they look the same, only with like a little bit of green on them. Now what we need for these is we need to take some cactus green, place them in a crafting table, and you get pipe waterproof. And we take that pipe waterproof, put it next to our pipes to get wooden waterproof pipes and stone waterproof pipes. So exact same recipe, and yeah, we're going to use this to funnel the oil out. Now this is just, you don't necessarily need this, but it is very, very useful when you're building. So, I already got it right here, a wrench. Now the way we're going to make this is we're going to take some copper dust, some tin dust, and it'll give us bronze dust. It'll give you 2 of them. And we take that bronze dust and we just put it in the furnace to get bars. And then we take the bars and we're going to put them in this formation. Kind of looks like a wrench. To get our bronze wrench. Now, what you can do with this wrench is it can be used to knock off machines, which, if you may have noticed, if you hit a machine with a pickaxe or something, it will just change the machine into a machine block, and you'll have to rebuild your machine. But with this, we can just knock off the machine safely without breaking anything. And it is also good for changing the outputs on whichever side. So let me make it daytime first. And now let me go show you. So here is our bat box over here. So as you can see, it has this little dot for the output. So say we want the dot on the front. We would simply right click and it'll move it. Say we want it back over here, it'll move it. Now I think if we click it a third time, it will knock off the machine. Now, obviously we didn't use a machine block to build this, but for other machines it will change them into machine blocks. So over here, our last item is simply, as the sign says, oil. I just made this right now because I wanted to give you guys a little demonstration of what oil might look like in the world. Oil is usually just spewing out from the ground like this and just spilling everywhere. So if you guys look on your mini-map and you see a bunch of black, that's probably some oil. Now, let me give you a little demonstration of how these items can work. So right here, we have our solar panels. We got 4 of them, and we have the energy being brought into our glass fiber cables, down into our bat box, which is fully powered right now. Then we have a copper cable connected to the output, being powered into our electric furnace, which is full power. So let's quickly take some gold, and let's put the gold into our furnace. And as you can see, it's going a little bit faster than our past furnaces, so it's very, very useful. Nice, now we have some gold. Next, let's take a look at the pump. So up here, we have redstone engines hooked up to the pump. We don't need to use combustion engines for these because redstone engines will do just fine as long as you have 4 of them. And combustion engines are kind of dangerous, and we don't want to have to keep checking up on our pump because most of the time oil isn't going to be near your house. So we're going to have these long pipes being delivering the oil straight to us. So our pump is right here in the middle with our waterproof piping. And now the way to check to see if your pipe is actually working, your pump, I'm sorry, is to see if there's a little tube that's coming down from the bottom of your pump. And it'll go right down into the oil. And yeah, it'll go right into the oil. And as the oil goes down, so will the pump. So let's turn it on. And let's see if this works. So right now we have our tubing going all the way into our tank. I already have some in to before because I tested it. So let's see. Let's see if it's pumping any oil out. Oh, there it is. So it's going to go very slowly through these tubes. And yep. So see, as the oil went down, it's going to go down into where there's more oil and to collect it. And it's going to keep going down until it actually runs out of oil, and then it'll just stop. It'll stop pumping. So as you can see, we have oil going in there very slowly. It's going up very slowly. These tanks can hold quite a bit of oil also, so don't worry about making a ton of tanks. So let's just shut that off. And now let's check out our last item. So let's remove some of this stuff. So we have a quarry, combustion engine, landmarks, levers, cobblestone, and a bit of oil and water. Now, first we can place down a quarry, but you know what? I don't like these dimensions. I don't like it. So let's get our, let's get our landmarks out. And I want a really small quarry. I don't need anything too big. So let's place it down. We have our new dimensions. Now, we need to place our quarry right next to one of the landmarks to make sure it captures the right dimensions. So there we go, it'll knock off the landmarks. Maybe one is a bit glitched, but okay. So next, we're going to put in our combustion engines. Now make sure your engines are facing your quarry, otherwise it will not power it at all. Put some levers next to your engines, and let's put some tubing on the top because that's where the items will come out. And let's just have it going into our chest right here. So now we have our tubing connected to it. Now our combustion engines aren't going to turn on unless we put some oil in and some water in. So now let's put some more oil in and some water in. So now we have oil and water in our combustion engines to power and cool. And let's see if our quarry will turn on. So first you will notice that it is building this orange frame around it. And I'm not really sure what the use for it is, but I guess so, like, it's solid now, so you can't walk through it. So you won't have anybody falling into your quarry. And it just shows the dimensions. So now this big long arm will come out, and it'll start digging until it hits bedrock. Now, I'm on a flat world, so bedrock is right there. So, it's done. As you can see, we have the items that came out of here being filtered through the tubes, and they're going to be going into our chest. Okay. I'll show you guys in the future how to get faster tubing. There's plenty of other tubes I can show you. Let's see. And there goes all of our dirt that we just quarried going into our chest from the tube. So I hope this helped, guys. These are just the basics of electricity, quarries, and oil. There is much more to do, and I will show you them in more detail in more of my Tekkit tutorials. If you guys have any questions, or if you guys want me to demonstrate anything more specific, leave a comment, question. But yeah, thanks guys. This has been X-Red here, and I'll see you later.